Is there anybody that enjoys waiting? Think about the doctor's office. We are asked to arrive 15 minutes early. So we arrive 15 minutes early and we are handed a clipboard and they say, hey, go fill this out. We take the next 10 to 15 minutes filling it out, we hand it back in and we are told, have a seat in the waiting room and the doctor will be right with you. After talking to strangers about the weather for 40 to 45 minutes, it's now time for the doctor to see you. And the doctor takes 5 minutes to check your vitals and say, take an aspirin and we'll see you next week. I don't know anyone who enjoys waiting. And I liken that example to what life does to us at times. Because at times we think we're ready. So at times we arrive to the figurative doctor 15 minutes early. At times we get our paperwork done and we hand it in and we say, hey, I'm ready for my dream. I'm ready to see my dream. And life on the other end says, have a seat in the waiting room and your dream will be right with you. While we do not enjoy waiting, waiting is a necessary part of every single success equation. Even when we think of it naturally, waiting is a part of any growth process. Let's think of a seed. You don't plant a seed today and get a harvest today. You don't plant the seed and get the harvest at the same time. The seed is planted to the ground, and then after it's planted into the ground, there is a progression that must happen before you reap your harvest. And as I get into this topic, I want to submit to you that the waiting season you're in is really a progression season. And if you do not give up, you are going to get your harvest. Now, we've established that we do not like waiting. And I've said it here before, we're a microwave generation that wants everything very, very quickly. And with that, a lot of us assume that we are patient because we're waiting. But the first thing I want you to get is patience is not waiting. Patience is how we act while we're waiting. Many start complaining and many give up because they are being forced to wait, and we don't like to wait. The thing about the waiting season of life is it should never be a season in which we are stagnant. Because what we do between now and then determines how quickly our dream or our desire comes true. What you do between now and then determines the harvest that you're going to get on the other side. If you stop watering the seed will die and you will never gain that harvest that you want. So the waiting season is really a progression season, which is why it's so valuable to sustain the dream once we get it. One of the most common traps that all of us fall into is that we mistake slow movement for no movement. We assume that because something is not happening fast enough, that there is no progression towards our goal. But what I found interesting in my own life is that in the times where I assumed nothing was happening, and I look back with hindsight, I see that that is really where the growth took place. And there's someone that's listening to me that has become obsessed with speed. An overnight success is not a sustained success. And I've come to let you know that direction is more important than speed. The direction that you're going in is far more important than the speed at which your desire is coming to you. And it's time for us to stop looking at how far we still have to go and start celebrating how far we've come. I mentioned that waiting is a part of every single success equation. And the reason it's a part of every success equation is because the process of a waiting season is not about who you end up being. It's about who you are becoming as you are growing into the person that can receive your desired end. I love what Les Brown says. He says that sometimes we do not realize the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. But this progression season is one of the most valuable seasons of your life. Now, I know that that's probably the last thing that someone who's been waiting a long time wants to hear, but it's the truth. And a lot of times what appears to be an enemy or a roadblock in our lives ends up being an asset, and it ends up being something that is supremely valuable to sustain us for the rest of our lives. I mentioned that a waiting season is not a stagnant season. So one of the things that we need to do is focus on action. Do not focus on how long it's taking. Focus on action. The worst thing that you can do in this season of waiting is to just sit there. A big part of success is showing up. And a lot of people won't even show up. A lot of people, they want that quick fix, and when they don't get the quick fix, they stop showing up, and then they sit back and say, see, I told y'all it doesn't work. But those that can be persistent are those that win at the end of the day. It's very easy for us to become so clouded with disappointment that we stop doing the little things that are allowing us to continue this season of progression. And I can hear somebody saying, well, I don't know what to do. And the reason that you don't know what to do is because you're looking for some big dramatic step to take. But I want to challenge you to adopt the mindset that although I can't do everything, although my dream has not fully manifested yet, I can do something. Even if it is the littlest thing, I can always do something that continues my progression. And all of this starts with your mindset. All of this starts with you having a mindset of, I don't care how long it takes. If I keep going, eventually, this waiting season has to end. It's a season, not a lifetime. I once heard someone say that in life, whenever we make a decision that we are willing to wait forever, we don't have to wait that long. Whenever you have that knowing on the inside of you, whenever you get stubborn about your desire, whenever you make the decision that every single day, no matter what happens, I am going to show up, that is when life starts to move. That is when life starts to say, hey, this person is serious. That is when your dream begins to chase after you instead of you constantly chasing after the dream. Although you can't do everything, you can do something. And I challenge you to stop focusing on how long it's coming, because direction is more important than speed. Too many of us want to go viral. And what I mean by that is too many of us want it like that. But do you know that most channels that have that one viral hit, they end up failing? Do you want to be a one-hit wonder in life? Or do you want to be consistent and persistent to the point where nothing can dim your light at the end of the day? Do you want to be persistent and consistent to the point where people can't snatch away from you what you had? It's so important that we do not focus on the speed at which it's coming, but rather we strive for consistency. What you do every day matters more than what you do every once in a while. And so here we have to talk about commitment. Those that endure the waiting season, they're able to endure the waiting season because their desire outweighs their circumstance. It is often true that you and I become obsessed with things being intense in our lives. Sometimes we feel like if something is not intense, if there's not constant stimulation, that we're not moving towards something. Consistency is better than intensity because intensity cannot be sustained over a long period of time. Intensity comes in little spurts, but a steady consistency can be sustained over time. A steady consistency breeds trust. And I want to submit this question to you. Is it possible that your dream appears to be running from you instead of to you because you refuse to be consistent? Is it possible that your dream appears to be running from you instead of to you because you're so obsessed with intensity? On the other hand, is it possible that your persistence, your consistency, and your determination tells life that you can be trusted with your desire? And a lot of times we think that people that have made it have some unique special gifting that no one else has. And that's just not true. Each and every one of us have giftings. Each and every one of us has something that is unique about us. And each and every one of us are in a position to make an impact if we decide to make an impact. Each and every one of us are in a position to fulfill our dreams if we can just remain consistent and build trust. I love what I read about Albert Einstein. They said Albert Einstein said, "I'm not that smart. I just have more patience than other people." And consistency, determination, and a posture of patience. And when I say a posture of patience, this means that you're not complaining every single day. This means that you're not saying, "God, why me?" every single day. This means that you are able to dispel thoughts that are not moving you towards your dream. And this means that you are able to, even when you have those moments of feeling left down, to push off the victim mentality and to say, no, baby, I got to keep pushing. I got to keep pushing because I've decided that there's no plan B. Plan A is going to work for me if I just stick with it. The posture of patience is not just about waiting. It's about how you act while you're waiting. And one of the things that I've noticed in my life is you're going to wait either way. The seed has to go through the progression either way. So considering you're going to wait either way, as opposed to complaining, as opposed to having the victim mentality, why not put on the posture of patience and look at your situation and say, okay, situation, what are you trying to teach me? Okay, situations, what lessons can I extract out of this situation that will keep me from repeating it and that I can share with somebody else to help them grow as well? While you're waiting, it is important that you embrace learning. The thing about the season of waiting is things tend to slow down, and that's why you feel like it's not happening. But the slowdown is a gift because the slowdown allows you to look up under the hood of certain things. And the slowdown allows you, like a mechanic, to make certain adjustments so that when it's time to drive the car again, you're able to drive it smoothly. Life is always teaching us something. Embrace learning in the waiting season. A waiting season is also a great time to have a period of reflection. And when I think of that, I think of having the attitude of gratitude. Because gratitude in the waiting season, it allows you to receive more abundance when you're out of the waiting season. But complaining in the waiting season forces abundance to run in the other direction. Remember, the waiting season is not necessarily a season of stagnation. And so with that, continue planning. Because like I said, the slowdown is a gift. So continue planning. Continue moving towards your dream. I want you to adopt the concept that nothing is wasted. So even though it looks like nothing's working, even though it looks like it's going to take forever to come to you, don't focus on that. Continue planning as if it's already done. And in your planning, allow creativity to flow. You and I were created to be creative. And whenever we create something, that is when we feel the most fulfilled in life. Now, that's not necessarily going to look the same way for all of us because there's different gifts. But whenever we are able to create something and to put something together, that is when we feel most satisfied and most fulfilled. And I would even go as far as to say that is when you are walking out your destiny. You cannot leave a mark on the world without tapping into your creativity. Any person that has left a mark, any person that has built a legacy, at some point and in some fashion, they have tapped into their creativity. With that, take the season of waiting also as a season of exploration. Take the season of waiting as an opportunity to look into some things that you never even thought about. Because again, although it's slower, that is the gift for you to get your ducks in a row. Slow movement is not no movement. Keep working. Keep moving. The season you're in is valuable towards your growth journey. It's valuable towards your self-discovery, and it's valuable towards your preparation. You have been given the opportunity to progress, and you have been given the gift of becoming. Just because I am challenging you to be consistent, just because I'm challenging you to be persistent and determined and immovable, it doesn't mean that life doesn't get hard. I saw something the other day that said, if ever life gets really hard, realize that it's hard because you're really, really close. Someone used the example of Uno, the game Uno. And in this example, whenever somebody calls Uno, that is when all the draw fours come out. That's when the skips come out. That is when everything in life is trying to stop you. And the only reason it's trying to stop you is because you're about to win. And I've come to encourage somebody. Your waiting season is your winning season. You just have to focus on the right things. Always remember that growth is a journey. It's not a destination. I'm in it with you, and I'll catch you on the next.